Lizi, before that, there was a strategic partnership agreement between US and Georgia, and Georgia greatly contributed to, for example, mission in Afghanistan. We have sent many troops there, and many of them died there. However, then Biden administration unilaterally terminated it. State Secretary or Press Secretary of White House was speaking all the time about Georgia, that here we have a democratic backsliding and violation of human rights. So, shortly speaking, we were under big pressure. New administration came with the same ideology as in Georgia, which is conservative ideology, of course. Therefore, Georgian political establishment had a perception that all above mentioned will pass and more attention will be paid to the countries which were defending conservative values. However, we see that lately we do not have such communication. Besides meeting with President Gavelashvili and Minister of Foreign Affairs Bajorishvili, with Marco Rubio and J.D. Vance in Italy on sports event. In Italy, such words were said from the side of the Rubio. During Biden administration, Georgian name was covered with so much dirt, it took time for us to clean it and see the situation as it is. Besides visit of Minister of State Security Dinaraidze in the United States, relations remain at the dead point compared to what it was before. How do you think, can those relations move from that point and reach strategic partnership? And about that is our interactive. Please, who watches and listens it, take part in that as well, which goes as, will strategic partnership between Georgia and US be recovered? I will try to answer that question very cautiously. First of all, I will say that Georgia has many friends in the US, many of whom my friends as well. They are very actively trying to clean its name in Trump's administration. They are representatives of the Congress, for instance, Rand Paul, Thomas Mass, and others who always support Georgia behind cameras. In my opinion, the main goal of the Georgian political administration must be strategic actions, considering who they are contacting and speaking with. Because there are people who gives you a smile and agree that, yeah, of course, we can restart our relations, but they will stab you in the back. Such are, for example, Marco Rubio and his type of people who were always representatives of neocons. They will always welcome you with a warm hug, but then never give any attention to your matters. You must speak to the people who will consider the matters more seriously, who is against the war and have an experience of putting out the fire in international relations. That then setting it. Such figure is, for example, J.D. Vance. Therefore, I think that Georgian government must start negotiations with Rand Paul, who always has an open door for them. He told me about that personally. And communication with Vance, who also has always his doors open for Georgia. Therefore, let's do not engage with those people who just don't care. As for the Trump, Today he is overwhelmed with another problems, and topics such as Georgia is just handed to others, because his first priority is Russia and Ukraine and Iran and Israel. And of course, if I were Trump, the topic of Georgia would not be even in my top 10 matters. That is why it is handed to others. And you know that there are senators who are actively lobbying punishment of Georgia from all sides. But as I already told you, there are friends as well. Those names maybe are not known even to the Georgian government itself, who actively work to somehow help Georgia to restart its relations with the US. Lizi, how we must find those friends and set up the communication with them, even media communication. Several of them I already named you. As for the media communication, a Georgian government can simply reach out to congressmen's aides and their aides and begin communication on any matter. And I guarantee you that they will meet them openly, because I already have those conversations with them oftenly. They are very interested and approaching it very logically. Another matter is the PR, how the world sees. Unfortunately, Georgian government doesn't have much means for that. However, this must be taken more seriously, because today, even that same congressman who doesn't have any telepathic talents have a team who carries some investigation about particular matters and then gives a result to the congressman. Those people who make such investigation, they watch a BBC, a CNN, sometimes some independent sources. Georgia possesses nearly zero independent sources. And of course, when some team of the congressman is working on some topic, first what it sees is a CNN's documentary about how Georgian government used chemical weapon against the population. Its name was, don't remember it, it was a Kemet. That's absolute nonsense. So, however, Georgia must overcome this. And in my opinion, more PR, even English broadcasting or any platform where Georgia can reach United States without any filter. That would have been great, but I think that such things are not happening here. For example, take India. India's most big networks are on English. Why? Does India not have enough population to run its broadcasting on Hindu? But no, their main end is about how they are seen by the world. So, Lizi, what you are advising, to make an English show, which will be broadcasted, for example, once a week? Naturally, because when you make a show on English language and you speak to the world on a language it speaks today, it is simple to approach any congressman who already have some idea that is Georgia about, besides that CNN and BBC are speaking, and reach your ends in particular communication. I think that it is absolutely logical that such steps must be taken, but unfortunately we do not see that. Second issue is that in diplomacy or even in a personal communication, it is important to speak on their language, and today, as I see, correct me if I'm mistaken, because I'm not deeply engaged in Georgian matters, because now we have many problems of our own too. Our president doesn't speak English, right? No, he speaks, but I don't know at what level of proficiency exactly. I have never heard his English. I always hear his translator. That's good that he speaks English. I'm saying that has an enormous weight. When the representative of a country needs a translator, that's a big problem. So at first sight, it seems a little detail, but those same details become existential when you want to build some good network. No one wants to look at you in the eyes and listen to someone else. Therefore, Georgia is a very small country. It has two choices. It cannot offer anything but its territory to the superpowers. One thing it can make for sure is to build its international image as it is, and not what CNN speaks about it. I personally experienced that with Tucker Carlson when he spoke about what Georgia really is. And now he has a totally different view about Georgia. Therefore, such things are more than important.